Hey, welcome back to the channel. So we have here the new version preview, Cell Block Chaos, and it is a 3.3.5 if I'm not mistaken. So the patch notes just came out, and as usual, we're gonna watch the video, and after that, we're gonna analyze the patch notes for the new Esper. So let's go.
The prisoner this time is a tough one. Refuses to give us any information.
It's fine. When he comes,
Oh my god, look at that whip!
Who?
in Nethergy, the man that everyone knows. His motto is, fight evil with evil. Fight violence with violence. He's the coolest guard in this place.
Ooh,
Jin Chu.
yeah, Jin
See
Chu.
an innocent man wronged, but no mercy for the guilty. And you are just a criminal who deserves no sympathy.
Hey, hey, look at that. Oh my god. Rusho. Wind Fighter. Legendary Wind Fighter Esper. Look at that design. Wow, that looks really nice. And his weapon is an axe. Nice. Look at that. It's a dragon whip, I think, or snake. And then his hat, his cap has a snake pattern. Nice.
Inmates, get ready for today's punishment! There is no escaping this abyss!
Hey. Wait.
This abyss!
Hey, what is this? This feels like the Cube Miracle, but yeah, this feels like similar to like Cube Miracle, but this is for Jinchu's story. So we don't know what to expect from this. We're gonna see later on, and it's written there for display only. The actual in-game appearance may differ.
We gonna stand our ground and show off all our moves. Get out the glitter ball and play some dope grooves. I wanna play the game. I wanna roll.
Next invasion, the Chaos Miracle is displaying peculiar activity. Follow Narmer and Su Jue. Who is Su Jue? Who is Su Jue? To uncover its hidden secrets. Maybe it's a new Esper. Who knows? Or is it only just an NPC? Yeah, we will see later. Inferno, Legendary, and Epic Esper's power has been raised by 50%. Nice! Like I always say, Dislyte team loves to make use of all of their Espers. So they make sure that Epic Espers won't be left behind in this content. And for sure, like all this time, we have a content that doesn't have this kind of bonus, like increase Epic Esper's power by 50%. So I'm guessing that this boss requires some ingenuity with the Epic Espers. Like you can probably, mix and match Legendary Espers together with the Epic Espers to get a maximum result. Like usually the strongest team for every single new contents by now is like every single legendaries that you have. Usually, like we almost no longer use Epic Espers for competitive content. But this one, they specifically mentioned that as Epic Esper's power is increased, so maybe there is some hidden meaning in here. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it, but we will see later. Oh, Golden City Challenge. This is the betting. Yeah, have fun with this. Have fun with this.
This body totally bustin'.
Ooh, Greywater Black Market. Tricky is back. And what is that? Rewind Crystal. Nice. A crystal that rewinds equipment enhancement. It can remove all enhancements from equipment. Please use it on the equipment recast screen. Ooh, nice. So if you have an equipment with 4 perfect substats and you fail to enhance it to get the bonus substats on the ones you want, you can use this rewind crystal. And it's only one. What the hell? They only give us one. Ooh, Material Research Lab, system update. Level 100, define synthesis pod level. Ascension phase 6, required number of suitable Esper for 3. What is this? Oh, that's the rewind. Yeah, see, it goes back to 0. So you can try enhancing the equipment again to plus 15 and see if you get lucky this time. Nice. I love his face. Like it seems so. It's supposed to be evil, but it feels more like tricky. Kind of like a sly face. It's like a sly face. Like he has something. He's thinking about doing something bad to you. Exactly. Okay, so we gonna go straight to the patch 3.3.5 details here. So apparently there's only one legendary Esper now in this update. They gonna lay low for a while, so it's only one legendary Esper. And we see here that Jinchu is an AoE fighter Esper that excels at dealing true damage. Nice, this is my thing. But it's only true damage. It's not percentage HP damage wise. So depending on the numbers, we will see whether this is gonna be good or not. So the skill is a little bit complicated, so I took a read just now, and I'm gonna tell you how it actually works now. So the first skill, the normal attack one enemy, dealing true damage. Oh yeah, first of all of his attacks is a single target. A single hit. So you don't expect this guy to be able to counter Ana, but all his skills are quite alright, if I do say so myself. So first skill, attack one enemy, dealing true damage based on Jinchu's attack and defense. So he is definitely a defense-based Esper, because almost every single defense-based Esper, their damage also based from a little bit of attack, like probably 20% or 30% of their attack, just to mix and match a little bit. So probably only Chang'e is the one who used pure defense stats. Or I think there is another Esper, but I forgot who. So while having Punish Evil, attacks 2 more enemies and inflict Convict for 2 turns. So Punish Evil is this one. This is a buff for Jinchu. So the way to get this buff is that Jinchu, looking at his skill, he will definitely be using his second ability first before using his third skill. Because the second ability gives him Punish Evil for 2 turns at the cost of a certain percentage of his HP. If HP is below a certain specific percentage, also gains Intimidate for 2 turns, gain a bonus turn. Okay, so this is the most important one. If he gains a bonus turn, definitely the AI will use this one first. And this skill doesn't do any damage. So this one only gives you buffs. And this ability's cooldown won't be affected by any abilities. Remember this, by any abilities. That means that this skill cooldown can be affected by equipment. Remember that. So Ocean Waves will be able to reduce the cooldown of this second ability, but not Yude or Ahmed or Ankichai or Feng Nuxi. They won't be able to reset this, but Ocean Waves will be able to do that. Okay, so Punish Evil is a buff for Jinchu if he uses his second skill and still healthy. And the effect is that this is undispellable, so this is a golden buff. Base attack increases by a certain percentage. The percentage increases with the number of debuffs inflicted on enemies by teammates up to a limited amount. So the more debuffs your teammates apply to the enemy, the more attack you get to increase. And then base defense increases by a certain percentage. This percentage increases with the number of buffs granted to Jinju by his teammates up to a limited amount. And these effects do not change in real time. I'm gonna talk about this after this. So the first things first is that this skill, this buff, increase attack and defense, both of them. So usually the Esper who use attack and defense have higher percentage of using defense, but we don't know about Jinchu's case here. Maybe it can be half-half, who knows? But if he gets more percentage-based damage by his defense, then you do want to pair him up more with Espers who can use a lot of buffs. So it's gonna be a good bonus if you can use him together with Narmer, but usually Narmer requires all 4 of his teammates to be a buffer, so it's gonna need some kind of testing, like whether you need Jinchu in that kind of lineup or not. But if you don't want to use Narmer, now you have another Esper who will get stronger the more buffs he has. Now the attack-based thing increase is based on the debuffs, and this is good because we can easily give debuffs on enemies using poisons. So he is going to be pair really well together with poison espers because you can easily get a lot of debuffs just within 1 or 2 turns. And I'm gonna talk about this one. These effects do not change in real time. So the thing is this, like every single skill in this game can be changed in real time, their value. So for example, like if you think about Jiangman put Nether Bloom on her enemies. And the Nether Bloom will only explode if the enemy got hit 5 times. So in between, let's say when Jiangman first applied the Nether Bloom, she doesn't have an attack up buff. But by the time the Nether Bloom only need 1 more hit, you give attack up buff to Jiangman, and then you hit the enemy and explode the Nether Bloom. The Nether Bloom will calculate the attack of the current Jiangman, the one that have the attack up buff, not when she first applied the Nether Bloom. That's the thing. That's how the game works in here in this slide. So you can change a lot of things. Like it's not only for Jiangman. Embla works the same as Jiangman, but it also applies for espers like Javid. So Javid applies the Judgment Seal on his enemies, and the Judgment Seals deals percentage HP damage to enemies who got attacked by anyone, who got hit by anyone. And when they got hit, the damage will get calculated based on the current Javid's attack. So when Javid first applied the judgment, and he doesn't have an attack up buff, when his allies attack the enemy and Javid at that point in time have attack up buff, it will calculate the attack up buff and increase the damage following the attack of current Javid, not when he first applied the judgment buff. That is what it means by real-time changing the effects. And here they specifically mention this is the only skill among every single Esper that has been released that the effects do not change in real time, meaning that the percentage increases with the number of debuffs inflicted on enemies by teammates up to a limited amount. So the bonus that you get, the bonus attack increase, only applicable and calculated when you first got the Punish Evil buff. You get what I mean? So when you first apply the Punish Evil buff, if the enemy have like let's say 5 debuffs, and that's it, you will get the bonus of attack increase of 5 debuffs. And when the enemy lose that debuffs, like with the next turn, or you add more debuffs on the enemy, it won't change the increase of attack from your Punish Evil buff. That's what it means by the effects do not change in real time. So whatever happens after that to the enemy's debuffs or to your buff, so for this one, the second one, when you get the Punish Evil buff, and you have currently only have like 2 buffs, then that's it. those two buffs are the only ones being calculated for your increase in defense. Even if after you get Punish Evil and it's your ally's turn, and your ally gives like 6 more buffs to your Jinchu, it won't increase his defense further again, you know. So that's how this Punish Evil works. The Intimidate Undispellable recovers HP based on damage dealt. So Jinchu have a built-in nether equipment. He can lifesteal on himself, but the requirement is that he needs to have his HP below a specific percentage. So he needs to be almost dying. I don't know how much a percentage is needed, but probably at least lower than half. So that means that he will only steal HP while he is dying. So if you feel that he needs to lifesteal since the beginning, then it's still okay to give him Nether Bloom and a Nether equipment. And when he reaches 50% HP and get this Intimidate buff, he will further increase his lifesteal because the lifesteal effect bonus do get stacked. Now Jinchu gains shield at the end of his turn. Shield strength is based on his maximum HP. So this is basically the same effect as Laura, but it only applies for Jinchu. So at least we know that even though Jinchu is a fighter, he is very, very tough. Like he has a built-in survivability kit. So aside from shield, he also used defense in his attack, so he definitely should have a higher defense than a normal fighter. And then after that, this shield strength is also based on his maximum HP, so you do want to also increase some of his HP. If the attack increase in here is like, you know, very low, like 20% or 30%, you do want to ignore the attack and just go for defense and HP. But if this is split into half-half, then you do want to make sure that Jinchu have like attack bonus and defense bonus in his equipment, and so you might not be able to increase his maximum HP, but it is okay. The shield is a bonus, it's not a must. You know. Now, next, going to his third ability. So, oh yeah, this one, the first skill, Ascension, attacks one enemy, deal true damage based on Jinchu's attack and defense, while having Punish Evil, attacks 2 more enemies and inflicts config for 2 turns. Okay, the config is this is a debuff. So when the carrier attacks, so that means the enemy who has this config debuff attacks, and doesn't matter who he attacks, like as long as that Esper attacks, they take true damage based on their maximum HP. So this is great, but I do want to see like how much maximum HP do they get taken from. So if it's like Ethan who takes like 20% of the enemy's maximum HP, then this is great, that is huge, you know. But if it's only like 5% or something, like it's a little bit like, you know, not interesting. But when they take damage, increases the caster's Jinchu's AP, triggers once per turn. So it's kind of like becoming a bonus if this percentage HP damage is only around 5%. Okay, 10% is good. 10% is good. 5% is alright. So 20% insane. That is OP. Okay, so that is config. We need to see the percentage number first to know whether this is great or not. But because this only damages the carrier who attacks, that means that it won't be as good as one swing from Archibald, you know, because it only affects one enemy at a time. So if you manage to give, because this attacks 2 more enemies and inflicts conflict for 2 turns, that means that you attack a total of 3 enemies. That means that 3 enemies have this conflict debuff, so those 3 enemies will be the only ones who get the true damage based on their maximum HP. So while having Intimidate, dispels 1 debuff from Jinchu and increases his AP. So this is going to be a bonus later on when we go to his Resonance. Bear with me. So, okay. So because he has a lot of things going on his first ability, it is good to give him Avatara. If you do want to emphasize on this, like if you have Punish Evil, like you use your second ability and then you trigger your Avatara, you will deal splash damage. Basically similar to how Javid works, you know. Like while having Punish Evil attacks 2 more enemies, and this will keep inflicting conflict to your enemy, and eventually all 5 of them will have the convict debuffs. So this is good. Avatara is good for him, and with his resonance later on, he will further increase his AP because he will get intimidated since the start of the battle. Now let's go to the third ability. Attacks all enemies, dealing true damage based on Jinchu's attack and defense, inflicts convict for 2 turns. Amplifies damage based on target's debuff count. This is the strongest effect Jinchu has in all of his skills. Because we don't really have that many espers who can get increased damage based on the enemy's debuff count, and that is as itself is really strong, because you can easily, if you use a poison team, you can easily reach 12 stacks, 12 different debuffs on your enemies, and based depending on the increase of this damage amplification, this can deal insane amount of damage on top of dealing true damage. That's the thing, because this true damage ignores the enemy's defense, so there is no way for the enemy to block this damage. So if you can manage to give insane amount of debuffs to your enemies, this third skill will be insane. And you do want have your Jinchu to move last because of this one, because of the punish evil effect. These effects do not change in real time, so you do want your teammates to all move first, give every single buffs, every single debuffs first, and then Jinchu should move after that and get punish evil, get the maximum benefit out of it, and then deal damage to all enemies, true damage, and also based on target's debuff count. This is strong, but depending on the number, we will see again later, because this is pretty much very straightforward. So everything will depend on the percentage number that we can see later in the PTR account. Okay. So on the resonance here, the second resonance, new effect, pump fatigue. Pump fatigue is the second ability here. Pump fatigue, new effect, when any teammate inflicts debuffs on enemies, grant the teammate punish evil for 1 turn. This is game changing. Because punish evil will not only benefit Jinchu himself, but every single allies who can inflict debuffs on enemies will be able to take advantage of this punish evil. And the good news is that it increases both attack and defense depending on whether you use debuffs or buffs. So when you use someone like Hilda can apply debuffs, like a lot of them, and she will definitely trigger this one. So she can increase her defense using this punish evil, and you know that defense increase Hilda's damage. So half the punish evil effect Jinchu grants to himself with unchanged ratio. So it won't be as good as the punish evil buffs that Jinchu has himself, but at least it can be helpful in further increasing your other espers damage. Especially someone like Gaius, for example. Like if Gaius able to give debuffs, like he got a buff blocker, he got a stun, he will be able to increase his base attack depending on the number of debuffs inflicted on enemies by teammates, and thus increase his damage by a lot. And when any teammate grants buffs to Jinchu, grants the teammate Intimidate for 1 turn. This is also game changing, because Intimidate makes your Esper able to lifesteal. And usually this Intimidate will only trigger for Jinchu himself when he is low in HP, it's below a specific percentage. But because in Resonance 2, he is able to grant this Intimidate, with an an alternative requirement of just granting buffs to Jinchu. That means that you can give lifesteal to your allies. It's similar to Abigail, but it's not as reliable as Abigail. It is expected because he is a fighter, he is not a support. So this alone by itself is already a good bonus. So aside from your other espers being able to make use of thunder equipment or war machine, they also will be able to lifesteal, and that will prolong your teammates' life by quite a bit. And also they will gain shield at the end of their turn. And this is similar to how Laura works. Like if you are able to give intimidate to all of your allies, meaning that all of your allies are buffers, that means that every single one of your allies will feel like as if Laura is there. So we're going to the Resonance 4. When target's HP is above 50%, damage plus 15%, this is okay, a bonus. It doesn't change anything, it doesn't change the gameplay. This is not game changing. You either want to go for Resonance 2 or you go for Resonance 3. But at Resonance 0 himself, he will be all right. Like he will just be a fighter. He won't be able to assist his allies, but he himself will still be able to deal some damage. But it is preferable if you can go to his R2, because as I always say, like Esper who can deal damage while also supporting his allies will be much more valuable than Espers who can only just deal damage. Okay. So on the Resonance 6, gains Intimidate at the start of combat. This is insane, because that means that you can steal life steal since the start of the game. Casting Pump Fatigue does not receive an extra Intimidate effect. So you will get Intimidate at the start of combat, and if your Intimidate is already gone, that means that you will follow the standard procedure where you need to be below a specific percentage of HP to get Intimidate again. But the biggest effect is this one, Intimidate, immune to stun and sleep. And the thing is that this effect applies to Intimidate, not just Jinchu. So, because you can now give Intimidate to your allies can no longer be stunned and sleep. This is huge. So, if you play, if you make a team out of all buffers, then everyone in your team will be able to get Intimidate, and thus will not be able to get stunned and sleep. So we need to test this, whether a freeze and other kind of disable like petrify will still get through or not, or they also considered as stun. But we cannot test this because I definitely won't be able to have a Resonance 6 Jinchu. But if you are aware and watching this, you do want to try this and probably tell your friends whether this stun includes freeze and petrify, or it only affects stun and sleep, because it will affect on how you can counter Jinchu. So if this only affects stun and sleep and they can still be frozen and petrified, that explains the Dislyte developers' mindset. Because that means that they want to make use of the freezing effect from Farah. They want to increase the value of Espers who can freeze and also petrify. Because if in the future a lot of players are going to use Jinchu, then the only way to stop the Jinchu steam is by freezing them. So that's Jinchu. So quite good, really good, well thought out skills. Not really game changing. It all depends on the percentage number that he has, especially on this one, the true damage, and all of these true damage skills. Like the percentage value, we need to see, because the percentage value will change everything. Because all of his damage are true damage. That's what makes him really strong. Like it all goes through defense. So if the damage number is the same as any other DPS, that means that he is insanely strong. Because aside from being able to deal the same amount of damage as any other DPS, that damage ignore defense. Now we go to edit the Materia Research Lab. Currently the abilities of each Esper are named after deities recorded in the mythology of Raya, which is passed down on Grandis. The Union collaborates with historians and archaeologists from various regions to research the mythology of Raya, categorizing and grouping different deities. Research has revealed that when specific Espers assemble, they generate distinctive bonus effects. So this is what I've been waiting for. Like in every single gacha games, they always have this effect. If you have certain specific espers coming together in your team, you have a bonus effect. That's basically like in every single gacha game, you have this kind of thing. So it's only a matter of time before Dislyte add this kind of bonus, and now is the time. So I do want to see like if this thing, the bonus effects from different esper groups can stack. So this is good. And acquire and develop the designated espers to level up esper groups and unlock corresponding bonus effects. So the thing is that because there is a requirement to level up these esper groups, that means that I love to see people specialize even more. Like we already have the specialization where people are now focusing on their favorite espers with divinate and resonance and equipment and everything. Now we have the esper groups which you need to level up again, and that further specialize of who your teams are going to be. Like for example, for me, I will definitely specialize on all the buffers and poison espers. So the espers groups that I will probably be looking out for is the ones that contain probably Javid, Hilda, Ife, Archibald, Intisar, etc., etc. So this is good. Now a new system auto set, blah blah. This is just a way for you to equip your equipment faster while telling the AI on what to look out for. Now the rewind crystal and then part of it as for name card and everything, blah blah blah. Now that's everything that is new in this update. And oh yeah, this one, dividend optimization and adjustment. The number is adjusted, but it won't be changing the game too much, but it does help. Like for example, like here, like Uday is not supposed to be dealing damage. So changing the attack bonus, reducing it, and then increasing the HP adds a little bit of survivability to Uday. Like this adds 700 HP. It looks small, but if you are like between life and death, like that 700 might be game changing. Like if you manage, like if you have 1000 HP and then the enemy attacks you for 1500 damage, then with this added bonus, you will be able to survive now. But it is like, it won't be changing the game too much. It's just like, an added bonus, so you can just read this on your own time. But the one that is good is this one, effects adjustment. Because all this time, all the espers that are not supposed to deal damage, they all get the definite effect that increase their damage. Like for example, like here, Fabrice, definitely nobody in their right mind gonna build Fabrice as a DPS. So when the bear's speed is above the target's glorious aura's final damage plus 6%, who wants that? So they're changing it to after casting glorious aura, the bear has 50% chance of gaining 10% HP. Every single one of these esper have the same bonus here. So this is good. Like they are all espers who are not supposed to deal damage. So the change is okay. It is really good, but it won't be that game changing. So it's just nice to have this. It's a balance change. So that's all we have, and we will see in the PTR later on if I get the they already sent out Jinchu. I will make another video to test Jinchu in the VR battleground and hope to see the percentage number here. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.